Because you went through some suffering over the last 10 years, I imagine,
Everybody
for
suffers
sort
a
of being
little
like a pariah in some circles for what you did. Is there any value? Did you learn anything from that, and did you become a better man in any way?
Yeah, gravel rash suffering. Well, less time on the meat rack after it's all done, right?
Get the man. So I think that's what we're engaged in here. We're engaged in character assassination with God's help. I mean, this is my version of what happened, according to the gospel.
Did the Jews kill Jesus?
Christians are more culpable in Christ's death than are non-believers.
Don't have hate. Don't live here with hatred of the Jewish people. Just say that out loud.
I don't think. Yeah.
You will not speak publicly about him.
I'm tight with him. He's my father. Gotta leave it alone, Diane. I'm really a good guy.
Mel Gibson is known for his strong stance, opinions, and controversial moments. He was blacklisted in Hollywood for years due to his statements, until recently, where he has started making movies in Hollywood again and even directed the Oscar-winning movie Hacksaw Ridge in 2016. But what made the film industry kick him out? Was it his raw truth or critical statements? To answer, we have to look back at his career.
Well, like most directors, I suppose what I really want to do is act. But,
Going back to 1991, where Mel Gibson had an interview with the El País newspaper. In the interview, Mel made highly derogatory and graphic remarks about gay men, mocking their physiology and asserting he would never be confused of being gay. During the interview, when asked about his own sexuality, he said, "With this look, who's going to think I'm gay? I don't lend myself to that type of confusion. Do I look like a homosexual? Do I talk like them? Do I move like them?" Following the controversial interview, the media took it by storm, and Mel's statements became the biggest headlines worldwide.
I mean, this is pretty silly stuff.
A few years later, in his interview for Playboy in 1995, the journalist explicitly confronted Gibson about the backlash he was facing from the LGBTQ community. When asked if he would apologize to the gay community to smooth things over for his movie's release, Gibson gave a fiercely defiant response, saying, "I'm not apologizing to anyone. I'll apologize when hell freezes over. They can F off." Now, years later, when asked about his controversial statements, he has said that it was due to alcohol, stating that "I shouldn't have said it, but I was tickling a bit of vodka during that interview," and the quote came back to bite me on the ass.
I was a wild boy, and we grew up in the 60s and 70s, and wild times.
Just what kinds of carrying on?
What flaws shall I expose to the world here? Yeah, it's done a lot of things I'm not proud of.
His brother Andrew Gibson, who is openly gay, also defended his brother, telling the press that Mel wasn't homophobic but was just a straight man, illustrating the fact that in the same way a gay man wouldn't want to have sex with a woman. In July 2006, during a DUI arrest in Malibu, Mel made several anti-Semitic remarks to the arresting officer, stating that the Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. Now, since then, the entire Hollywood community united against Mel Gibson and used everything in force to kick him out of the industry and portray him as an anti-Semitic. And in a way to try and defeat the negative names that everyone was throwing at him, he gave an interview to Diane Sawyer, who is notoriously known about her very controversial interviews and how she can be very rude and not empathetic with the interviewees.
Diane Sawyer.
Good evening. We want to welcome you to this primetime special event about the film that set off an explosion of debate, controversy, and feeling in America.
During the interview on Good Morning America, he called the anti-Semitic remarks he made the stupid rambling of a drunkard, and that he was ashamed of what he had said and acknowledged the hurt it caused.
I'm afflicted with, everyone's got something. I would get addicted to anything at all, okay?
Was it alcohol?
Yeah, mostly.
He denied being an anti-Semitic, saying that he's not an anti-Semite. When Sawyer asked him about the statement that the Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world, Gibson responded with, "I don't believe Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. I mean, that's an outrageous, drunken statement."
Are you anti-Semitic?
No, of course not.
After the interview was released, there were mixed responses, as some viewers saw that it was a sincere apology and an attempt to take accountability, while others believed that it was Mel Gibson's way of minimizing and making excuses about the remarks that had caused him significant harm to his career.
And, the other thing too is there's no action I've ever, that ever supports that label they put on me. So it's just not who I am.
Were they trying to frame Mel Gibson as anti-Semitic? The truth is that they were labeling him as anti-Semitic even before his 2006 arrest, where he blamed the Jews for all the wars in the world. The attacks towards Mel Gibson's religious and political beliefs started from 2004, when he was promoting The Passion of Christ. It became the highest grossing R-rated film domestically, raising $370 million, and the highest grossing Christian film, and the highest grossed independent film of all time. Although the movie became one of the most loved movies of the century and is still being celebrated today, at the time Mel was attacked for multiple reasons for even making the movie. The first attack was that he received criticism from Jewish organizations saying that Mel was trying to portray the Jewish communities badly and that they were responsible for Jesus' death. Gibson often dismissed the criticism and argued that he was simply depicting the gospel accounts.
Pontius Pilate.
Read the Gospels, Diane. You look in there, he was pressured by all of them. That's the Gospel accounts, 1, 2, 3, 4, all had the same thing.
And he repeatedly maintained that the film was faithful to the scripture and that the critics were attacking the film before seeing it.
God's help. This is my version of what happened, according to the Gospels.
Did the Jews kill Jesus?
He was born in Judea, into the house of David. Right? He was a child of Israel, among other children of Israel. There were Jews and Romans in Israel. There were no Norwegians there. The Jewish Sanhedrin and those who they held sway over, and the Romans, were the material agents of his demise.
In several interviews, Mel emphasized that Jesus' death was a result from the sins of all humanity rather than a single group of people.
So who killed Jesus Christ?
The big answer is, we all did. I'll be first in the culpability stakes here. There's an argument that says Christians are more culpable in Christ's death than are non-believers.
However, critics argue that the film's portrayal of certain Jewish authorities risk reviving the centuries-old Christ killer accusations historically directed at Jews. This disagreement became the center of the debate surrounding the film, or it was not created by Mel Gibson.
Critics who have a problem with me don't really have a problem with me in this film. They have a problem with the four Gospels. That's their problem.
Now, this could also come because all major Hollywood studios rejected the project for being too controversial and violent, which made Gibson invest in his own film company called Icon Productions and funded the entire movie by himself. And it paid off enormously because it became the highest grossing independent film in history and earned over $612 million. Did this make a lot of film companies want to attack Mel Gibson and portray him as an anti-Semitic so they can make the movie look bad?
This film is not anti-Semitic, but their fear is in a world in which horrible things have been done to the Jewish population.
Right.
That simply looking at these events will once again incite people toward, if not violence, animosity, prejudice.
I don't think so. I don't
Vindictiveness?
I don't think you can say that. I watched Schindler's List, and what the Germans do, and that is horrible, But I don't hate Germans or want to hurt them or anything. If you go by that rationale, any story where one group of persons did something to another group of persons, you shouldn't put any of it on film.
If he would just add a postscript to his movie using these words:
Don't have hate. Don't leave here with hatred of the Jewish people. Just say that out loud.
I don't think. Yeah. Well, that assumes that there's something wrong with my film, for me to do that. And I don't think there is.
Mel is very vocal about his views about traditionalist Catholicism and rejects the modern form of the Second Vatican Council and legitimacy of recent popes, calling them false church.
I'm just Roman Catholic the way they were up until the mid-60s,
Before Vatican II.
Yeah, and that's the Latin Mass with a properly ordained priest, and it's never been abrogated. Abrogated means never been outlawed or stopped.
In an attempt to defend his son, Mel Gibson's father made a public statement denying and questioning aspects of the Holocaust, which made things even worse for Mel Gibson.
I think as soon as they started filming, that beacon of journalistic integrity, the New York Times, was, dispatched someone to go down there and take advantage of my father, even before I could finish filming. So, but, do you think they really want to know what my dad has to say, or did they ever want to know before I started making this film? I don't think so.
And you will not speak publicly about him
I'm
beyond
tight
that?
with him. He's my father. Gotta leave it alone, Diane. Gotta leave it alone.
In a 2004 interview with a journalist, Mel said that he wanted the movie to be a forum of all dominations. It's not meant to offend, it's meant to enlighten. So, as we've seen, even years before the 2006 DUI scandal, Mel Gibson was already facing accusations of anti-Semitism during the release of The Passion of Christ, and a lot of the accusations weren't factually based.
Then he says a seismic rumble began.
My detractors play hard. They say I'm a bigot, I'm an anti-Semite, and then, what really makes me crazy is they say he's an anti-Semite for like a year, and then they say, we never said that, but that's all I've been reading.
Critics argued that the film reinforced harmful stereotypes about the Jews and responsibility for Jesus' death, while Gibson insisted he was simply portraying the biblical story. Following years of controversy and being blacklisted from Hollywood, Gibson stepped out of the spotlight. And during the early 2010s, he appeared in a handful of films, but his career was no longer at the level it had been before the scandals. His biggest comeback was in 2016, where he directed Hacksaw Ridge. The film was a critical and commercial success and received multiple Academy Award nominations, including a Best Director nomination. For the first time in years, many people in Hollywood began discussing whether Gibson deserved a second chance.
Now, I'm reading articles over the place. Hollywood's re-embracing Mel Gibson, and your new film, Hacksaw Ridge, got a 10-minute ovation at the Venice Film Festival.
It's actually 9 minutes and 48 seconds, Stephen.
Really? Did you stop? Did you stop watch it? Okay.
Absolutely.
Some argued that he had taken responsibility for his actions, sought treatment for alcoholism, and rebuilt his career through strong work. Others believed that the severity of his past comments and behavior should not be overlooked. The debate intensified because several prominent actors and filmmakers publicly supported Gibson, while critics argued that Hollywood was too willing to forgive powerful celebrities. Today, Gibson remains an active actor and director, but opinions about him remain deeply divided. Some see him as an example of redemption and personal growth, and others view his past controversies as inseparable from his public legacy.
You had some rough patches over the last 10 years.
Rough patch.
And how was that?
Not my proudest moment. Not
No?
my proudest moment,
No?
Stephen. But 10 years go by.
Yes.
I worked a lot on myself. I'm actually healthier and happier than I've been in a long time. So that's cool. And I'm fortunate,
How are you fortunate?
Well, I get to do what I love to do.
Yeah.
I get to do that. I'm grateful. I get to tell stories. So that's good.
I'm not a done deal. I'm a work in progress, and I'm extremely flawed. And I better continue to think that way, too, because it's the truth.
In 2025, Mel Gibson appeared at the Joe Rogan podcast, and he received a lot of love online, and it seems like people have started seeing Mel Gibson's opinions and point of views from an aspect that he wanted them to see it in 2004. Before 2006, Mel Gibson was one of Hollywood's biggest stars, and he was known for films like Braveheart, where he won 2 Academy Awards for Lethal Weapon, The Patriot, and a lot more other great movies, which are some of the greatest movies of all time. But since The Passion of Christ, where he had to work and invest and put all his money in creating, a lot had changed for Mel Gibson. The media went against him. The biggest Hollywood studios stood and fought against Mel Gibson's passion for his filmmaking and went on a media hunt for Mel Gibson before any of the controversial matters that came to light in 2006 and onwards. Could this be a way to frame Mel Gibson and destroy his career for going against the biggest Hollywood studios and the media? Or could it be Mel Gibson's mistakes and alcoholism?
People are going to accept the apology and we're going to move forward.
Just when I apologize, I think. And you know, of course, you take a hiding, and that's okay. But, you know, you take the shots.
Yeah.
You try not to yell too much. You be manful about it.
Yes.
You know, don't, react too much. But it's interesting. It's a moment in time. It's a pity that one has to be defined with the label from, having a nervous breakdown in the back of a police car on a bunch of double tequilas. But
right.
That's what it is.
Right.
Now, this is not, that moment shouldn't define the rest of my life. So.
No, I don't believe any person, no person is their worst moment.
Despite everything, Mel Gibson is building his career and has made a huge Hollywood comeback. In 2027 and 2028, he will be releasing the sequels to The Passion of Christ. Comment below if you think Mel Gibson has had his redemption or if he should still be blacklisted from Hollywood. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.